What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of KindaFunny Games Daily for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Giant Bombs, Tamoor, Hussain. Hello!
Hi, it's my birthday.
No, I don't. I'm not
Happy
falling for that again.
birthday! No,
Don't do it. Don't fall for it.
He got
Don't
me.
do it.
He got
Don't
me.
do
That
it.
son of a bitch. I got so excited. I was like, oh, because
What is the origin of you always just saying it's your birthday? Is that just something you thought was funny and you've done the
He's
rest
a
of your life?
piece of shit. That's what his origin
That's
is.
right, Kevin.
Fuck
Do you wanna
you,
know-
piece of shit.
Do you want to know the real reason or the fun reason? The fun reason. Or
Here,
the
if
real
I'll
reason?
full stop you right now, Tam. Here's the
Okay.
problem I have with Tam. Is that Tam, as you all know, adores Batman. Loves
Mhm.
Batman.
With all my heart.
Taken on all the wrong properties from the Joker. Where do I want to know the story. Which story am I getting, Tam? I don't know. You're going to give me these two stories and you're going to say one's the real answer, and then next time I ask, it'll be three more answers that don't make any sense. So I don't know what it's going to be.
I think there's a fairly good chance it's his actual fucking birthday today. He's that
Who knows?
kind of. He's
No.
got
Who
that kind
knows?
of energy,
Impossible.
you know.
Who knows? So the fun answer is I just enjoy the chaos.
There it is. That's exactly right.
The less fun but more like real answer is because I realize that no one on Twitter pays attention to anything.
Sure.
But they do engage with everything. And so I had a theory where I was like, I'm going to test whether this is actually the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start randomly saying it's my birthday in one of those tweets, which is like, I'm celebrating my birthday today by taking it easy. And seeing who replies with, oh, happy birthday. And then I'll do it again at an undetermined time, fairly close after. And see what happens. And what I found was the same people were just repeatedly wishing me a happy birthday over and over again. And in my thinking, my theory was confirmed. People don't pay attention to what they interact with on Twitter. It's just like a routine of, this is a birthday means I reply happy birthday, makes me feel good, strengthens relationship online with this person, and go.
Congratulations on figuring that out and just, taking down the little kindness people have.
There you
left.
go.
You're such
There
a
you
little
go.
piece of shit. That's the
There
thing.
you
Like,
go.
they're
Piece of shit.
Do
When
people
people
say
wish you happy
to make
birthday on
themselves
the
feel
internet,
better?
they're fucking lying to you. They don't give a shit.
Or
I'll tell you
for
what,
a moment,
for-
they're like, oh, it's Tam's birthday.
For
And they
years,
move on.
for years, I stayed away from the birthday game on Twitter.
Yeah,
Somebody says something about their birthday, I want to say happy birthday to them. Not because I don't care, but just because I use Twitter in a very specific utilitarian work way for the most part, or torturing Andy.
Mhm.
But like,
Oh,
once
you can't say that. You
I
can't
think
say
this
that.
past time around where I was like, maybe this last birthday, or maybe like even I don't know any life event, I'm gonna bring it down. Like when Porty died or whatever, it does feel good when people respond. And so
Yeah.
now I'm kind of like eased it up a bit, where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start, but then I get in my own head about it of like I think other people are gonna see me wishing somebody else a birthday and be like, well, Greg never wished me a birthday. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
birthday
yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
But
That does
sometimes I'll
happen.
keep it offline. It was Gary Whitta's birthday yesterday, right? 2 days ago.
Mhm.
It's times the flat circle. I've had COVID.
See, now I feel bad. I didn't know, but I didn't know it was his birthday.
You know,
I
it was a
could have
big one,
never
too. It was
known.
50. It was 50. You know
He's
what I mean?
50?
Yeah.
Gary Witt is 50? He
That's
does
what-
not look 50.
Oh, I was
I
going
mean,
the
well,
opposite way.
I mean,
No, to me, he looks
Exactly.
like he's British. When British people age, like when they get to 50, they look a lot more aged than Gary Witter does.
Well,
so I
again,
think
the
coming
problem
to
here is,
America
like,
has helped him quite
I
significantly.
don't know what to believe. I saw someone wish him a 50th birthday. I think it was his wife. But was she maybe having a jab at him, making some fun? I don't know. But I said happy birthday to him. You know what I mean? He appreciated it. I texted him happy birthday. You know what I mean? But that's the thing about Gary Whitta. If you don't know, everybody, Gary Whitta, anything you ever do, he takes the pebble and he puts it on the scale. He remembers. Gary Whitta very much has the scales on what if you've been good or bad to him.
All right, so with that in mind, I would like to formally wish Gary Witt a happy birthday.
Too
I'd
late.
like to
Now it's gonna be
apologize to
embarrassing.
him that I didn't know it was yesterday, but I am wishing you a happy birthday today. Trogs, if you could clip that out and send it to him for me, I'd appreciate that.
I don't hold on. I want to make sure we got
I
it that
don't
it was
think that-
yesterday
I
because
don't
it's
know
one of those
that the
things again.
Trogs
Flat circle. I
hang
can't
out
remember
here,
anything.
you
Yeah,
know?
no, it was yesterday, and his
It was
wife
yesterday?
said, "Happy 50th birthday to my amazing husband, Gary
Okay.
Whitta." And that's when I was like, "Oh, I got to text her."
Did he
Yeah, happy-
respond?
Happy
When I
birthday, Gary.
yeah, he said heart back.
Oh, okay, all right. It was
Okay, so it was his birthday. Okay, great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. For
Cool.
sure, it was his birthday.
Okay, let's just make sure he
What did
gets
he do?
that
He,
from
he
me.
spent a whole time. He spent all day bitching about not getting any Power Wash Simulator swag. You know, Gary, you're 50 years old. Grow up. Jesus.
That he doesn't look 50, but that is the thing that makes you reminds you that he does act 50.
It's a
at
great
times.
game. That's a
Just
great
being
game.
angry.
It is a good game.
Nobody's saying no. This was not a shot at the game, Kevin. We're all very. into
Does
the game.
the Power Wash Simulator swag include a power washer?
No, it came with
Oh
a
my
little
God.
stress
That
gnome,
sucks. That sucks.
a shirt that said ding, a hat that said ding.
That
I've been
sucks.
looking for a power washer too. That's the thing. Yeah.
Give us power washers.
But then they would
I-
lose the simulation part of it.
Right.
I mean, they didn't send me anything, so I'm fine. I don't care.
Yeah, you don't seem bitter about it at all either.
No.
See, this is the problem with all you British people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You like it's just under the surface. You think you're
Yeah.
hiding your emotions, but under the surface, we can
I
tell
have
you're
now
angry.
concocted a scheme that is going to ruin the lives of everyone who works on Power Wash Simulator.
Jesus Christ, oh man, God places, you know what I mean? Speaking of ruining people's lives, Greg Way, let's talk about some video game news. The Last of Us Part 1 official details are officially in. Riggs is dying, and we have some Assassin's Creed Red rumors. We'll talk about all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerd video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. On Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, you can write in to be part of the show. You can get your questions read. You can get your producer name read. You can get the show ad free. You can get the show with the exclusive show we do each and every weekday. Of course, you can watch us record shows like the Kinda Funny Games cast and PS I Love You XOXO live. You could be a trog. However, today it's of the utmost importance because, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, we are recording the 100th episode of the Kinda Funny Xcast.
Hell yeah.
Snowbike Mike will be joined by one of his gaming dads, Paris Lilly. Gary Whitta, 50 years old, and got a COVID shot, so he's laid out. He's tired. He can't be on the show. But Major Nelson will be stepping in to hang out and celebrate 100 episodes of the Kinda Funny Xcast. You should come watch live. Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. You give us a few bucks, you can watch it live and have a great time. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. We have plenty of free ways to support us. The first and foremost, of course, you could use the Epic creator code KindaFunny when you're checking out in the Epic store or when you're buying something in Fortnite with them V-Bucks on any platform under the sun. You use the code KindaFunny. We get some money. Everybody's happy. Another way to freely support this show is watch us record it live on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, just like K3 Well, Burgers, and Wolf Fox 10JC. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, roosterteeth.com, and listening on podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. Housekeeping, like I said, XCast 100th today. You can watch it live, patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. But if you don't have any bucks to toss our way, no big deal. youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames tomorrow. Come reminisce about the Kinda Funny Xcast with special guest Major Nelson and maybe other people. Maybe.
Maybe.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, Gordon McGuire, and the Predator, Al Tribesman. Today we're brought to you by MeUndies, Athletic Greens, and ExpressVPN, but we'll talk about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 4 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Is it 4 items? I'm currently adding a fifth.
5 items on the Roper Report. Say it again, Kev.
A
Kevin, don't curse
baker's
the show.
dozen.
Number 1 on the Roper Report, ladies and gentlemen. It's official. We've officially seen The Last of Us Part 1 gameplay and details. Kevin, I dropped a link in there. It's 10 minutes long, so you can just let it play while we talk over it. We're going to read from Kat Bailey's story over at IGN.com. In the wake of the reveal of The Last of Us Part 1, a full remake of the original 2012 release for PlayStation 3, there were plenty of questions about how much it would actually change. But based on a new video released by Naughty Dog today, the answer is plenty. Kevin, can you scroll back 2 seconds to where Neil Druckmann was? Pause it. Tam.
Yeah, he looks like Joel.
Look at the fucking guns on Neil Druckmann. What is this guy putting up on the rack, Kevin? You kidding me right now?
That is a powerful look for Neil Druckmann, honestly.
Henry Cavill, get out of the way. I want to see this man reload.
I want to see him come to Game Awards next year and cock his arms like Cavill does in Mission Impossible. It's a good look. And you know what? I was fond of Neil Druckmann's long hair look, mainly because when we were in London, we had a little sandwich shop next to us where there was a man who looked like Sliding Doors Neil Druckmann. Me and Lucy used to always just look at him and be like, Sliding Door Neil Druckmann.
Yeah.
But I will say the short hair, big beard, big guns look for Neil Druckmann is much better. It's a good look. Yeah. It is a good look.
All right. Anyway,
he does also look like Joel. Like he looks straight up like Joel.
He's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel could never be this cut. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. All right, Kevin, hit play again. Sorry. The Last of Us director Neil Druckmann was among those talking center stage to outline some of the biggest enhancements to the beloved classic, from graphical enhancements to improvements to accessibility. The team also outlined a host of new features, which include, sorry, I have COVID, a new permadeath mode, a speed run mode where players can time their runs, unlockable costumes for Joel and Ellie, an enhanced photo mode, a model viewer mode. That's on top of the big changes to AI, graphics, and controls, which aim to enhance The Last of Us at pretty much every level. For instance, the remake will utilize the DualSense haptics to add tension as Ellie draws a bowstring. Holy shit, Tam. Groundbreaking.
Mhm.
I can't believe this is the first game ever to add tension for drawing a
Incredible.
Why are
bowstring.
you making fun of it? It adds to it. It's better.
What I'm making fun of it is that what they lead with, Kevin. That's the fucking example they've been using since they fucking debuted haptics. I'm sick of hearing about the goddamn bowstring. Blessing knows what's up. Blessing, if you're out there coming in to give me a hell yeah.
I am sick of that stuff. I'm also sick of you can feel the tarmac underneath your wheels. No one gives a shit. Okay,
Yeah.
no one cares.
Now,
Get on with it.
but here's where they do put it in the interesting way. Blessing,
Hell yeah.
thank you. They also put an interesting thing in the video,
You
right?
mean it.
Or to enhance the tactile feel of Joel and Ellie petting a giraffe. Now, hold on a second. This is what I'm talking about.
The best horned
bowstring,
animal?
I've had how many games now have done this with the bowstring business? I've heard it. I understand. I don't care. The giraffe? I'm gonna feel what it's like to pet a giraffe through the haptics of the DualSense. Now you have my attention, Naughty Dog.
This is subterfuge and deception, because Naughty Dog knows that 90%, 95 to maybe 99% of players will have no frame of reference of what it's like to pet a giraffe. Who can among us claim that the feeling of petting a giraffe in Last of Us Part 1 remake is authentic in any way? No one.
Well, now, Tam,
I think this is bullshit.
Tam,
is-
just so you know, you're talking in like the worst place to talk.
Okay, who here has pet a giraffe?
Kevin.
Kevin? Okay, I'm gonna need a full review from
not
you.
Only,
Well,
or at
that's
just
least-
so you know,
Safari.
not only have I pet a giraffe, I've
I'll
also
say you rode a
fed it
giraffe.
apples.
Giraffe.
I've
Oh, okay,
also
cool.
fed it apples. I would gladly eat a giraffe, Greg. I want to know what the
No, don't
long meat
eat a
tastes like.
giraffe.
Now-
I'm gonna need like a TikTok from you and Roger about
No,
how
Tim, you're
authentic
missing
it
out.
feels.
I realize I've been out of the .com game for a long time.
Yeah.
But the
I
race
see
is-
where you're going.
The race is on between you and smelly, stinky IGN.com. All right. Will Giant Bomb be the ones to approach the SF Zoo,
Mhm.
say we have a fun video here,
Mhm.
let us come pet this giraffe, or you send us a video of you petting a giraffe, then you come to the office and you play this and you tell me if it feels like petting a
Okay,
giraffe.
I'm on it. Don't worry. I'm on it.
Because here's the thing. I know right now, Brian Altano's rolling over in bed at Comic-Con, right? Covered in salads. All this man does his workout and eat now. I don't know what he does anymore. He's only eating healthy. He's losing weight left and right. He's going to roll over. He's going to find out about this. The race is on. Don't let Brian and Max Scoville do this. Put
No.
Giant Bomb back on the map. You guys
Back?
lost a lot of
Excuse
credibility
me?
when you brought in Jeff Grubb. You lost a lot of credibility when you brought in Jeff Grubb.
Wow, listen, he pioneered the daily morning news show format. Let's
Yeah,
go.
sure he did. He posted at 5:30 in the morning. How's the viewership on that? You know what I mean?
It's going really
hasn't even
well. Thank
happened
you
yet.
very much.
News hasn't even fucking happened yet. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
we'll see next time you're quoting him, and you have to say Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb. Okay.
Everybody, I want you to remember that sentence and we'll get back to it. All right. We'll remember that sentence and we'll get back to it. Oh, wait. It's going to be a ways from now. We'll get back to that. All right. Anyways, back to the story here from Kat Bailey at IGN.com, a real website. Naughty Dog hopes that these changes will make The Last of Us remake, as Druckmann puts it, extremely better than the original game. The Last of Us Part 1 was first confirmed back during the Summer Game Fest after several leaks, whereupon we got to see the updated version running on PS5. Critics have wondered whether The Last of Us needs a full remake just a decade after its original release, but Naughty Dog insists it isn't just a cash grab. Quote, "It's the definitive way to play The Last of Us," Druckmann says. We'll be able to see for ourselves just how enhanced The Last of Us remake is when it releases September 2nd on PlayStation 5 and PC. Tam, what did this video do for you? I assume you've watched it all. It's still going, obviously. We keep letting it play, Kev.
Yeah, I
what
watched it, and I'm excited for Last of Us 1 being updated and that kind of stuff. I have played that game many times, so I don't know how much more excited I can be having played that game, 3 or 4 times. I think for me, like, the interesting thing is like the combat they haven't shown much of it. They've shown just snippets of it. And I think that's where the biggest difference is, like between part 1 and part 2, right? Like the combat, they kind of figured out into way better. I will go so far as to say I don't very much like the combat in most Naughty Dog games up until this point. It's been functional more than something I actually enjoy. Whereas in Last of Us Part 2, it felt like something that was enjoyable and part of the overall kind of vibe, aesthetic, and what they were going for, the brutality of it. So taking a step back for this is going to be a hard ask, I think, for me. As far as I know, they aren't making any combat changes, are they? Like, they're not putting in the Last of Us 2 combat model into 1, are they?
Not that we know of. Again, like the messaging I feel is saying so much, but dodging the stuff people really care for.
Exactly. So we know that you will be able to feel the tensile strength of a bow when you pull it, but we don't know whether the combat is any better than it was previously, which was a mess. We don't know whether Ellie is gonna stand in front of you and take shots to the ass while you're trying to be stealthy. We don't know.
No, we know
about
that isn't gonna happen. We know that isn't gonna
Are
happen.
we
They talk about
100%
that
sure?
here.
Oh,
And here
hell
they
yeah.
talk about how smart the AI is.
I'm
and they're
back on
bringing it-
board. I'm back on board, baby. Let's go. That's all I needed. But yeah, the actual like combat is the main thing for me, and the rest of it is kind of like, okay, it's nice to have. Yeah, it's gonna look better. It will feel a bit better, but I don't know if it's gonna play as good as the Last of Us 2 is. And you know, the whole objective is to kind of create parity or create like a more seamless transition from 1 to 2, and that feels like the major point where you're like, is that going to be seamless? It doesn't feel like it is going to be seamless. It's one of those moments where you're like, this is going to be a reminder of these two games coming out like vastly different time periods.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see on so much of it. It's your point, like to the point I was making, I guess, for your question, right? The AI for your companion has been redone. It is in
Okay.
Last of Us 2 way, and then the enemy AI as well has been redone and has
Okay.
been done in Last of Us 2 way. But what it feels like to play as Joel, how much does that change to play as Ellie? Obviously, as you see this, that is unknown, and that's where it gets interesting. Of like, okay, like I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm gonna play this. I'm hoping I platinum it. I hope it has a great trophy list on it. But watching this last night, I do not. Obviously, I don't think it's a cash grab. I think that's so insulting to anybody who's making anything, right?
Yeah.
But I was watching and just being like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be the same levels in the same geometry, in the same move the palette, do the thing, move the stick, except it's gonna look way better, and they're gonna have come in and fleshed out the trees and made the environments feel more real. But even playing Last of Us right before Last of Us Part 2 to be ready for it, I was like, oh man, this is a much smaller, tighter game. Like, it feels more claustrophobic. I feel like I'm in set pieces all the time, right? Where I didn't feel that in Last of Us 2. And granted, I'm not saying that needs to exist in Last of Us Part 2, but the hope of saying in the original messaging and rumors, we are remaking The Last of Us, made me go, oh, they're remaking it. They're like really blowing it out. And so I feel like this exists somewhere between a remake and a remaster.
Yeah. And
it's not like, I don't feel like I'm going to be shocked. Like, I don't know. Like, even watching it, I don't know. It's going to come down to being on sticks and how it feels and what it is. But watching it, I'm like, yes, this is Last of Us, and it looks prettier. But like, I played the prettier version with remastered as well. So it's like, is it? I don't know. Digital Foundry will have the frame by frames and the things, and they have them here as they pull things back and go this way. But I'm not looking at it going like, holy shit.
Like, and let's also be like completely transparent with it. Like, this is not entirely for us. Like, people that have played this game a bunch of times and love it, or the first
100%.
two. This is for the people who are looking at the HBO show and going, what is this all about?
Yep.
And then potentially might go back and play the games. Like, this is to kind of leverage the interest around the TV show. And
100%.
It's going to be interesting to see how those people take to it, if at all. Like, they're a much broader group than us right now. But like
Really
the kind like I said, the kind of like transition from 1 to 2, I think is going to be quite jarring for a lot of people. I would be like, if you're a person that doesn't play a lot of games like us, this might still feel quite dated, especially if the gameplay hasn't been tweaked too much. Whereas the second game is the one where you play it and you feel like, oh, this is a modern, good feeling, like enjoyable video game to experience, as opposed to the first game, which is more perhaps consumable now as a movie watching experience than a playing experience.
Yeah, to your point, and I obviously agree with it. And Kevin, the trailer's done. I feel like, and not even feel like, it's what it is. It's meant to be that you watch Last of Us on HBO. You go, this is awesome. I'm gonna walk into the store because this is the future. Walk in the store, buy a PlayStation 5, and right there is Last of Us Part 1. And theoretically, then I'm sure enough, Last of Us Part 2 will be there in no time, ready to in a PlayStation 5 box, ready to be bought and ready to go with as well.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm both excited for it, but also kind of ambivalent, if you know what I mean.
100%. Like that's the thing about it, where it's like, I watched all this last night and I'm like, yeah, obviously I'm going to play this. Like in September is a great time for it to drop, but I'm not like checking my email. Where's the review code? Where's the review code? Like, and again, is that a shock? No. Like I've played The Last of Us how many times? Like I love The Last of Us and I'm going to love this game, I'm sure too. But it is interesting. Like when they started when they started going through the things they're adding to the game, that's another one where I'm like, okay, not much for me here. Permadeath, that's awesome. People want to do that. I understand that. Speedrun, sure, great for that. Costumes, all right, yeah, I'm down for that. Photo mode, that's rad. Model viewer, never once in a video game have I used a model viewer. I don't know why people put that in there. And I know in the thing, Neil talks about, or maybe it was Sean, but Neil, I think it was, of like, we put it in the model reviewer because, you can really see the detail on the models we're using. I'm like, I get that, but Chad, is that something you do a lot? Do you use model viewers? Is that something you've been big on? And all my years of video games, I've never done that.
Don't be creepy about it.
Great point. Great point.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just people just being like, I've zoomed into Joel's crotch, and you're like, oh, come on.
That's right where I would go to. Don't get me wrong, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, the question here from twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, it comes from Outrun6017. But if you weren't getting a code, would you guys buy it for $70? Tam? No?
No.
I feel I'm probably in the same boat. Yeah. Like I don't, again, but I feel like saying that sounds more damning than I think I mean it to. It's just that I've played The Last of Us and I've played The Last of Us Remastered, and now this is a very pretty version of The Last of Us. And I also just played 2020. I just played The Last of Us in 2020, so it's not like I haven't played it in a decade. And I'm like, man, I really want to go through that story again.
Yeah, I want to create a distinction between I wouldn't buy it at all and I wouldn't buy it for $70. I would end up buying it, but I would just wait until it drops in price because I'm not, as Greg you mentioned, like it's fundamentally the same game, and I can wait to play that for. It's not like I'm gonna miss out on any conversations around it that aren't, it looks really nice at 60 frames per second or whatever, or like look at this texture. I don't have to be engaged in those conversations. If there was some story that I was missing out on or some character stuff that I was missing out on, then I'd be compelled to buy it immediately. But it's the same game. I'll pick it up when it's on discount on a PlayStation Plus sale or something like that, and I'll be good. No issues. It's the $70. Like if it came out at a more discounted price, then I'd probably pick it up a lot earlier. But for me, like I'm waiting for it to hit like maybe 30, maybe 40.
Sure. Or inevitably when they bundle it with PS5, Last of Us Collection. And here's the definitive Last of Us Collection, and then it's all on PS5 ready to go. Which I'm still shocked that as we talk about, this is for you to go to the store and buy your PlayStation 5 and blah, blah, that they didn't do that off the bat. But I wonder if it is that the Last of Us series is clearly going to be so much Last of Us Part 1 that they don't want to give you Part 2 yet, and there's no real hurry to get that. You can double dip on that when Season 2, 3. I'm sure Last of Us will go on forever as HBO series or whatever. But whenever they get to that kind of thing, then you try to time it out or whenever they drop it. But very interesting. It's gonna be fascinating to see how it reviews and what the conversation is about it. Because this, the $70 price tag has been the thing everybody's been hung up on. Tam, understandably so.
I'm interested to see if people are going to re-review the entire game. Like I don't know what we're going to do at GameSpot because like we've reviewed this game like 3 times now.
You're going to re-review it.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm gonna like get an entire new review out of it, or if it's just like, hey, just update the original one with some more text.
Interesting.
Like that's what I generally do. Like for games that don't have like a major difference. Like Spider-Man's coming out soon, the PC version. I'm not gonna do an entire new review for that. I'll probably end up just doing. I mean, I say that now, but I'm sure someone from the SEO team is gonna be like, you have to put an entire new review out. I'm gonna be like, fuck. But generally I'm just like a paragraph or two or however much you need to say to get what you need to say about this new version of the game and put that into the old one. But we'll see how that goes.
Tam, we will see how that goes. But let me tell you, it's not going well for the servers for Killzone and Rigs. This is number 2 on the Roper report. Guerrilla Games is shutting down online servers for Killzone and Rigs. This is Demi Williams over at GameSpot.com. Guerrilla Games has today announced that online servers for a number of its games will shut down on August 12th. The studio behind Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West shared the news today on Twitter, stating that online servers for Killzone Mercenary, Killzone Shadowfall, including Intercept Mode, and Riggs Mechanized Combat League will be closing down on this date. Guerrilla added that online features and online multiplayer modes for the games will cease on this day as well. However, single-player offline modes will still be available to players who already own the games. The developer didn't give any reasoning behind the sudden decision to shut down the servers for the select number of its games. Killzone Shadowfall launched in 2013 for PS4, while Killzone Mercenary was released on the PlayStation Vita motherfuckers the same year. These are the most recent console titles to be released in the Killzone franchise, before Riggs Mechanized Combat League was released on PlayStation VR in 2016. Back in January 2021, Sony closed the official Killzone site, which now lets visitors know that it's been retired. The latest decision to close online servers suggests that Guerrilla is moving away from the Killzone franchise and will no longer be supporting previous titles. No recent announcements have been made in regards to the future of the franchise either. Tam, pour one out for Riggs Mechanized Combat League. You remember this
You hate
one?
to see it, yeah.
You hate to see it. Wow, what a
You hate to see
groundbreaking PSVR game. One of the first PSVR game that I put on. I'm doing the thing in the training lab. I get in the elevator goes up. The elevator stops, but my body felt like it kept going. And I got so car sick. Oh my God, was I car sick? I think it was at PAX.
I remember that as well. I had to stop playing that game pretty much immediately.
Yeah,
that was before I got my proper VR legs. Now I'm untouchable in VR.
That's what they said. I hear they call you untouchable, Tam.
Yeah, you can't touch me in VR unless I expressly consent to it.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
I wanted to pop in here. And say,
ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. It's CEO Junior Barrett Courtney. Hello, Barrett.
Don't pour one out for Riggs. Keep that beer. Drink that beer. Let Riggs die. First game I ever played for IGN on my very first day working at IGN, where they're like, "Hey, we're reviewing Riggs. Are you good in VR?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then they made me play Riggs, and then I captured Riggs footage. And honestly, one of the worst motion sick games, especially when you're playing it on PSVR, which is the most motion sick prone VR headset, I believe. And so
no,
no,
to be mean to it, you know.
No, I'm gonna be mean to it, Kevin, because the Quest.
You're being mean to
so
PlayStation VR in general.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
general.
You have a weak constitution. That's on you. Me and
no, it's the Quest is much better at like letting you actually like walk around and actually feel like
you're better. Yeah,
like actually in the worlds instead of like, oh, I'm sitting down in a chair and I'm walking around and there's a major disconnect and that's why I'm getting motion sick or getting really hot and stuff like that.
What was it? It was like you were in the giant mech and you had to get the ball and run it and jam it, slam it. Is that what it was in the center?
Yeah, it was like it was like basketball, but with like more set dressing. You know, that's what it was, and it wasn't very good. Let it die. Don't pour out that beer. Don't waste it.
It's too late. It's been poured out. If you want to pour it out for Killzone Mercenary, a great PlayStation Vita game for a great handheld.
Most people don't know that VR actually stands for vomit reproducer, so makes a lot of sense.
You certainly
honestly.
got there.
You got there. It was gone. We moved on, Kevin, but he came back.
Honestly,
he said that one's good enough. I'm
the
doubling
Vita,
back.
a middling handheld. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
These kids today, Tam, they don't understand.
No
They got their Steam Decks left and right. They don't understand the Vita crawled so your Steam Deck could run.
It had to crawl through glass.
Yeah, it was like Snake in the end of MGS4. It crawled through a microwave oven to get to where we are now.
You gonna miss Killzone, Tam?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, me neither. Sorry, I know I'm the PlayStation guy, and let me tell you, I loved Killzone 2. The multiplayer.
Which one was the PSP one? Mercenaries? Was that what the?
That was the Vita
PSP?
one, Mercenary.
Oh, the Vita ones, yeah. That was
Yeah,
decent. That was alright.
I mean, because we were dying for something on a Vita that was not that Call of Duty World at War, right?
It
No,
was
Call of Duty.
PS. The one I'm thinking of, Killzone Liberation. Not Mercenaries. I was thinking of Liberation. Liberation was the PSP one, the like isometric one.
Yes.
Was, like,
oh my God,
good.
I had erased that from my head. Call of Duty
Yeah.
Declassified. Thank you, Olive Party. God, that one sucked. And then that Bad Resistance one too. Remember that? Jesus, we were hurting for.
I will say this now, okay? Resistance: Fall of Man, one of the most overrated video game franchises of all time.
Well, first off, that's the first game. That's not a franchise, so you'd have to go say the Resistance franchise.
Fall of Man 2, whatever, all of them, overrated.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'd counter with.
Mhm.
Resistance Retribution, the PSP game, underrated.
I would say Resistance Retribution is probably the best of the bunch.
This is how I shake hands now. We shake in real life. We shake them, but we can't because of COVID because I have it.
I also had it, but
What can you do?
yeah, I still have the cough as well. As I can see you going through it, and I know now. How you feeling? Yeah.
So
But-
resistance never clicked for you at all.
No, not at all. I thought it was fairly basic. It had some nice, cool guns in it, but everything else was bog standard and kind of boring, if I'm honest. The interesting thing about this story is
Even 3, I like 3. Like I'm with you that like 1 didn't click for me, 2 I wasn't a fan of. Loved Retribution on PSP. Thought that was a really cool story with Grayson. And then the 3 one, I was like, oh, journey across the country. This is cool. Abrupt ending, but whatever.
Yeah, I just remember not caring about it, and I played through it, and I was like, I'm good. I'm just gonna leave this. Entirely forgettable. For me, the interesting thing is the kind of assumption that a lot of people are making that they're done with Killzone, and they're like, we're moving on. Yeah, they retire the website, that kind of stuff. But like, I don't think that's a kind of like in concrete indication that they're done with Killzone just because they got rid of a dated website. You know, like were they actively updating that website? They might have looked at that website and went like, this looks like fucking GeoCities, get rid of it. And start fresh. Like who knows? Like a few months from now, we could have a brand new Killzone website or whenever a new. I don't think Killzone is gone for a very long for like forever. I feel like it comes back. And
100% you'll get more.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more resistance. Like you live in the Matrix, everybody. You will see all your old franchises will be brought back.
Will be back. Yeah. Why create new when you can just shove old?
Because you let it go long enough, and then there's just a cachet to the name that people are like, I want that again. And then here it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't mourn Killzone entirely yet. I think it's just like waiting, like Undertaker in his coffin for the right moment to spring up. Was that a good wrestling reference?
I mean, you're kind of invoking Royal Rumble in 1994 when Yokozuna actually beat Undertaker in a casket match. But what you're eliminating the fact of is that he beat him, then they rolled the casket down, then this smoke poured out of it, and then they went to the Titantron where he woke up in the casket, and then he ascended from the Titantron into human form and then into the rafters. And then he waited like in the ethereal plane until SummerSlam 94 when he came back and he had to fight the other version of himself that Ted DiBiase was
It might surprise you, Greg, but that is exactly what I was evoking.
I know you know your shit.
Yeah,
I'm just here to fill the gaps.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
got
I appreciate
the
that.
strokes. No problem.
appreciate that.
I was there. SummerSlam 94. I was there.
Oh, you were there? Damn.
Oh my God. United Center. Amazing.
Incredible. I've never been to a wrestling event live.
What's your problem?
You want to go? I lived in the UK. Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. That sounds amazing.
I'm going to SummerSlam next week if this COVID clears up. So
Oh, interesting.
You missed your boat there.
The only show that I don't know if you remember, the only show that they had in London for a while was Capital Carnage. Do you remember that?
No, well they did Insurrection for a while too.
Oh, was it Insurrection? The one that were like the only reason I remember Capital Carnage is because one of my friends managed to get tickets and it was insane. He went with his entire family and he had to convince his like mum and dad that wrestling was cool. And then a boob was accidentally unleashed in the ring right in front of him and his entire family. And let's just say his parents were not happy about that.
I mean, the kid's got to learn somewhere, you know?
Yeah. No, that kid knew already. That kid knew already, but his parents did not know he knew.
The kid knew, and the parents didn't know that the kid knew.
Yeah, so no, I mean that kid was very familiar with boobs, but like his parents were like, no, we have to keep this kid safe. And then so when the boob appeared in the wrestling format, they were like, you can never watch wrestling again. This is clearly a softcore porn thing that you are watching.
Damn, can you imagine how magical it was for him though, or if like,
incredible.
I think that was one of like I got in at the right time of wrestling things, right?
Yeah,
because I had the 80s when I was a little kid and I'm watching It's Hogan, It's Warrior. And that's when my dad would watch with me. And he'd, when Monday Night Raw started, it started very much in that era still, or, in between, but it wasn't the Attitude Era. And so he'd watch with me. And by the time he fell away, I stopped watching as a kid at some point. And then in high school, I came back hard for the Attitude Era, Raw's War, DX, all that, the Monday Night Wars, all that jazz. And that's when wrestling was just as raunchy as humanly possible. And I'm talking about sure what's in the ring, but then also going to the shows and people I should say, they're flashing titties in the audience. You know what I mean? And the performers in the ring during the commercial break are egging them on to do this stuff. And it's me and my other 16-year-old or 15-year-old high school friends there. And like your parents just think you're off there watching Macho Man drop an elbow. And I was watching a lot more than elbows, Paul, let me tell you.
So we didn't have WWE. Well, WWF wasn't airing on normal TV, terrestrial TV. You had to pay like subscription fee and get Sky, and that was so expensive. But what they did have on Channel 4 was WCW.
Sure.
So I used to settle for WCW, which was actually pretty good. It was like Sting, Booker T, and a few other like notable wrestlers. But I desperately always wanted to watch WWF because I was a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, and like that is what I wanted, and I just did not get it. So I think I just like it passed me by at a time. I used to watch every Royal Rumble I'd watch, but I'd watch it like a week later because my friend would tape it. He'd watch it like over and over and over for that week, and then once he was done, he'd hand it to me, and by then I'd know exactly what was happening. So I was just watching it for the sake of watching it.
For sure.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Man.
Jen, we're taking Tam to wrestling one day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking you to an ad break. If you didn't know, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames to support us, write in to be part of the show, be a Patreon producer, get the show ad-free, get the show at the post show, watch the XCast 100 live as they record it today. But most importantly for you, right now, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames and get all of our game shows without any advertisements. But you're not there right now, Jack, so here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Are people still trying to make plans with you this summer? As if you aren't booked and busy already. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. And I know that from experience. But you know what? MeUndies has always been there to help me. I'm always wearing my MeUndies shirts, my lounge pants, my lounge shorts, my undies themselves, the socks. I'm a MeUndies fanboy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I just absolutely love the soft micro-modal fabric. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. MeUndies has a great offer for all of you out there. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off. For a limited time, if you sign up for the free to join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. To get 50% off your order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Well, you don't want random passerbyers looking in on you, so why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices, whether it's my phone, my desktop, everything. Anytime I'm using the internet, just because I am trying to stay as safe as possible. The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, you click one button, and you're protected. It is so easy. It's the biggest button in the world. One click, you're done. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. You can use our link, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode. I started taking AG1 because I'm not a big pill guy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on extra things, but I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my health. Now, I've been using it the last couple months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has a fun tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the mornings. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focused, and aging. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny.
Numero Trace on the Roper Report, ladies and gentlemen, is actually going to lead into Sam's breaking news. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Red, all right? So yesterday, a whole bunch of Ubisoft news happened, right? We talked about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was getting delayed to 2023. Ubisoft canceled Ghost Recon Frontline, Splinter Cell VR, and 2 unannounced games. Then, that we talked about that yesterday. That was on yesterday's show. Congratulations, you all listened to the show, I know. Then, Ethan Gotch over at Kotaku wrote about that, but then added this in there, right? Assassin's Creed has remained one of the few bright spots for the company, and Kotaku understands that in addition to the live service project, Assassin's Creed Infinity, let me try this again. Sorry, the COVID. And Kotaku understands that in addition to the live service project Assassin's Creed Infinity, Ubisoft is also still planning another new open world game called Project Red. Then Ethan puts in an update. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports Red is actually part of Infinity rather than a separate game. Remember, Infinity is supposed to be that platform that we don't know much about, but that they talked about it and said, hey, we're making this thing. It's a platform. We're working on it. We're trying it. Let's see what actually goes from it, right? They're saying that this is actually part of that. Then Ethan goes on. This is where your listening skills from before will be important. No, that's what I'm making the thing about. According to 2 sources familiar with its development, it will be set in Asia. Venture Beats Jeff Grubb previously reported that the game might be set in Japan.
Hold on. This is clear indication that Kotaku is fucking not paying any attention. And I could have told you Kotaku's not paying any attention to what's going on in the world. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I like Kotaku, but if you're going to get it wrong, like, I'm just going to call you out. Like,
I don't
Ethan, know. This is Ethan.
It's Ethan.
Is Ethan? Get a grip. Okay? Just look out the Kotaku bunker for a minute, and you'll see that Jeff Grubb has moved on. He's happy now with his new partners, GiantBomb.com.
You understand how it is, though, of like, it's like, sure, Michael Jordan, went and became a wizard to end his career, but he did no
Michael
good
Jordan
work
turned into a wizard?
Yeah. I knew this one wouldn't play to Tam, but I knew it would work out there. All right. He went to a different basketball team when he was out of talent and no good anymore. But he did his best work with the Bulls. And so that's literally the Jeff Grubb scenario here, right? So like Ethan is reporting on the reports Jeff did at Venture Beat, not the stuff he does now where he just farts on Twitch with Dan Riker and you guys are like, content, like.
He's got a daily show that goes up every morning, much earlier than other daily shows.
Him and Dan Riker farting around. That's what they call it. No. You guys do great work over there. Chef, you know that.
He's in the chat right now. He's absolutely molding in the chat right now.
GiantBomb.com. Everybody go over there. That's where he works now. In the meantime, multiple employees tell Kotaku different Ubisoft studios are facing fewer and smaller raises for staff, less hiring, and various budget freezes. This new wave of austerity comes as many major tech companies prepare for a potential recession. Ubisoft's problems go beyond that, however, with beleaguered ambitious projects like Beyond Good and Evil 2, the sequel to a beloved cult classic action RPG, still completely MIA, and senior developers.
Dead game, 100%.
Oh, yeah, 100% dead. And senior developers on some core franchises jumping ship. Ubisoft's next forward gaming showcase will air on September 10th. The company did not respond to a request for comment. Now, jumping off of that, the breaking news comes from the one, the only Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. This is story number 4. Ubisoft pushes back next Assassin's Creed title in already thin year. Ubisoft Entertainment has delayed the next Assassin's Creed title, pushing it from February to the spring, marking the second such setback in recent days for the French video game publisher. The new game, codenamed Rift and set in the Middle East, was originally planned as an expansion to 2020's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but morphed into a standalone game in order to fill a hole in Ubisoft's thin release schedule. Take it, Tam. Go, Tam.
In order to fill a hole in Ubisoft's standalone release schedule for the fiscal year, Ubisoft's office in Bordeaux is leading development on the game and asked for more time because Rift is running far behind schedule, according to a person familiar with company's plans. The delay will impact Ubisoft's balance sheet as the game moves from the company's current fiscal year, which ends in March, to the next. The game is now expected to be released in May to June period, and Ubisoft spokesperson didn't immediately have a comment. So we've got another Ubisoft title that has been punted a little further out. The exciting thing about this one is set in the Middle East, which makes a lot of sense because Valhalla, as far as I know, is pre Assassin's Creed 1 and kind of like moves into, like segues into it, I believe.
You have those the assassins, and that's the whole thing, right? The assassin who's in your village, your Viking village, Eivor's friend. Chat's going to say his name in a second. The rumor is that he's the star of this, and that's why obviously it sprung from that game that it was going to be an add-on to it, and then it became its own thing. Basim,
yeah. Interesting. So I don't know. We talked extensively about Assassin's Creed in the latest GameSpot After Dark podcast, and I don't. I'm the thing that baffles me is they're putting so much on this franchise to the detriment of every other property that they own. And then every time we hear about what's going on with Assassin's Creed, it feels like the back is literally breaking on that franchise. And Ubisoft does nothing to kind of adjust the weight and move the load. It just keeps canceling titles around Assassin's Creed and then going, why is everything delaying? Why is everything thin? Why are people not liking it? Why does no one care about Assassin's Creed anymore? It still sells, but like I feel like there was a time, remember the Halcyon days where people fondly talked about Assassin's Creed, and now they begrudgingly play through these 100-hour experiences that are 80% fluff and 20% good content. And I just don't understand what the strategy is here for them. Like they clearly have some ideas of where they want to go, but they're just forcing so much down people's throat. And now we've got this game that sounds interesting, but is like already delayed. And it's just like very strange.
The problem I feel is that Ubisoft is reactive. And you remember this is, you have to put on your memory caps here. When Vivendi came on strong and looked like they were going to buy up Ubisoft and it was going to be a hostile takeover, they doubled down on what worked. And that meant that they had seen success with the big games as a service that isn't necessarily a games as a service. That is you're spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours with it, right? And so they doubled down on that. They made things like The Division, which are great, obviously, as games of service, Ghost Recon, that thing. Then they go over and they start off with the new version of Assassin's Creed, and they found success with it, right? Like, people loved Origins. And then Odyssey came around, and I didn't love Origins. I loved Odyssey. And there's this fun fight of which is better, right? But we can all sit there and be like, these are both amazing games and yada, yada, yada. But then they came back with Valhalla, and it was that thing where at that point, the world was already shifting and changing. There was already criticism of like, man, these games were great, but they were too big. But like, Odyssey got bigger than Origins. Valhalla got bigger than Odyssey. And so now it's like, dude, fucking stop. We're full. And this was the argument, a long, long time ago when Assassin's Creed was annual. And it was the conversation of when will you stop doing this? And they straight up said, when you stop buying them. We will change it we will change this when you stop buying them. People stop buying Assassin's Creed as much. There was enough criticism of it. So now you have the criticism that is Valhalla is way too bloated, and this is coming from somebody who loves the combat in it. Came back over paternity leave, put another 50 hours into it, and I don't think I'm anywhere near the end of it. Like and I'm just lost in it, where it's just a pool of check marks and shit to do, but I'm not even committed. I'm not even connected to Eivor the way I'm connected to Cassandra.
Yeah.
And so, like, you have this whole thing of like, God, all of that has gone too far one way. I think it's exciting to sit here and talk about Rift and be like, all right, cool. All the things you love from those games, but dialed in, shorter, linear, or not linear, but, contained.
More focused, yeah.
Yeah. And I also get excited for Infinity, where I do think, I don't know what that looks like. I have my theories, right, of, hey, Infinity is a platform. It'll have all these different protagonists, but are you anchoring around somebody like Cassandra, who's, able to be and exist for years and hundreds of years and all these thousands of years, spoiler, and do all these different things? And that's what it is. And that's the tentpole that's connecting it. I don't want it to be the animus. I don't give a shit about the story anymore of Assassin's Creed. Just give me cool things to go explore.
That's interesting. Because I'm the opposite, where I started to lose it when, admittedly, he's not a great anchor, but Desmond started to drift away, and like they introduced Layla, and Layla was kind of cool as well. But I need characters to really engage with, and I feel like the bigger the world gets, the less important the characters feel, if you know what I mean. Because of the time you spend between missions and just like faffing around, there's no urgency to it, a lot of it. And like I liked Origins a lot. I thought Bayek was the last character that I really, really connected with. I enjoyed Cassandra for a little bit, but like the early hours of Odyssey are not the best, I would say. Like they're very slow going. For me, I wanted to like get stuck into it a bit more, and it's like early days are like a bit like willy-nilly faffing around for a little bit, but like by the time I kind of got going with Cassandra, I was like, I kind of have other things to do now. It's kind of slow, and I looked at the map and I'm like, there's like 1 trillion hours of this left to go, and I know that a lot of this is going to be fluff. I really hope that I've said it many times before. Like, I hope they go back to the more focus, not necessarily like, you know, oh, it's completely linear again, but like create a smaller space that they make super dense and just pack with wall-to-wall banging quests, wall-to-wall core characters, interesting combat, and we don't need I don't need to run through the field for 20 minutes to get to the one marker. Just condense that all into like a city that you make really, really cool, like the Rainbow Six Siege approach, where they had this big game they were working on. They were like, let's not do that. Small, super destructible, focused experience. And I realize Siege is a first-person shooter, so it's a different kind of thing. But you get what I mean, like an area that feels a little more contained, a little more. And like I talked about this again previously in the GameSpot thing, but like I still feel like they didn't make good on the vision of the first game. Like they moved from the original Assassin's Creed pitch, which was this social stealth game in a very tight focused area, to where they had like connected areas through like an overworld type thing that wasn't all that interesting, to 2 where they kind of became a pseudo open world very quickly. I still want them to go back to that original idea and like get that one right, which they have come to a few times but never done it perfectly. And I would love to see them go back and do that. As for Infinity, I like the idea of Infinity, this kind of like multiverse of Assassin's Creed titles that they just keep jamming into. But I don't know, man. This the thing for me that I take away is from this story is Ubisoft as a company is not as diverse as it used to be, and Assassin's Creed is under more of a load than it ever has been. It's gonna give at some point, and I am not looking forward to that House of Cards coming crashing down, and then Ubisoft suddenly being like, "What happened?" I was like, "Well, you know what happened. You put all your eggs in one basket."
That with Infinity being a platform and needing content drops on it, that you would be getting smaller drops. And you would be getting something more akin to what you're saying, but it would make sense for both of us, where there is an overarching story for what's happening in Infinity. Then you're getting these different time periods episodically to go through and do things. And obviously there'll be an open area you're exploring or whatever. But even that, I think, would be smaller than what we've seen before.
Yeah.
But all this said, and part of their problem, I think, is that you get these games and you can fall in love with them in a way that also then reflects badly on the rest of them, where Odyssey is still on my PlayStation live screen dashboard, whatever you want to call it, because they just dropped a update for it or whatever. And I'm like, I never did finish all the DLC. And it's one of those things when I start getting into, I want a big open world RPG, I start toying around and do stuff. I'm like, I could just go back to being Cassandra. The problem is that the game has a issue with, I'm so fucking powerful now, and I'm still getting skill points, and there's nowhere for them to go anymore. It's just like, well, why am I doing this? I'm poisoning people in 2 seconds when I go out and attack them. It's no longer the challenge of it.
I think what you need is an open world game where you don't feel powerful and you feel more like there's an incentive to understanding the world and growing, and you need to, you know, feel like your back is up against the wall now and then, but also have this diverse, you know, universe that has interesting lore. What you need, Greg, is Elden Ring, baby. Let's go. Fire it up. That'll get you what you need. Put away the Assassin's Creed.
Never. Number 5 and final on the Roper Report for your week. Nintendo Switch Sports has got an update coming. That's Nintendo. Beginning July 26th at 6 p.m. Pacific. A free software update will be available that kicks things up a notch and adds a number of new features to the game. You'll be able to turn your real-life kicks into powerful in-game actions in full soccer matches, pull off fancy new moves in volleyball, and even reach for higher ranks in the Pro League. It's got leg strap stuff you can use. You're doing this thing, you're kicking that thing. If you already brought your A game to the competition, this update will you can reach for even greater heights when you play online in the new Pro League with the addition of the new S rank and Infinity rank. When you aren't spiking, swinging, or striking for the new ranks in random matchmaking, you'll be able to easily join friend matches using room IDs.
Cool. Sounds good.
Did you ever play this one?
I played a bit of it, yeah. I played a bit with a bunch in the office with a few of the other GameSpot folks, and it's a lot of fun. This is great for people who are still invested in it. The actual like changes to the soccer stuff is probably beneficial, because I realized I heard that game was that mini game is a little tricky to play, so adding like extra leg strap stuff and etc will probably help it out. But yeah, I don't know if I'd go back to this game right now. kind of want to give it a little more time for them to like. I hope they introduce new sports. That's what I want.
Did they
Instead of
ever?
Twitch.
They haven't done it yet, have they? They remember?
No, they haven't
yeah,
added anything
that was another
entirely
one, right?
new. Yeah, they haven't added anything yet. They're supposed to, but that's what will bring me back. These like smaller kind of tweaks are good for the people that are actively playing it, but I probably won't go back to it until it's like, hey, we've got baseball.
Well, Cam, I'm excited for you to one day go back to Nintendo Switch Sports, but that day's so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, Airy Vikings, it's on everything. Dungeon Slime Collection, it's on everything except PC. Banish is on PC though. Princess.loot.pixel.again X2 is on Xbox. Capcom Arcade. Second Stadium is on everything. Live Alive is on Switch and everybody's freaking out about it. Schoolbreak.io is out now on Steam. Did you play Live Alive?
No, I have not, but I definitely want to. It looks
Me too,
really
yeah.
cool.
Blessing had a good review of it. Endzone's Distant Places DLC is now available on PlayStation, Xbox. Hero-ish is on Apple Arcade. New dates for you. You can retreat to Enen's release. Oh no, retreat to Enen's. I gotta imagine that's Eden, but did I copy it wrong or whatever? Retreat to Eden or retreat to Ian's release date has been moved up to August 1st on 2022 PC. Path to Titans Closed Beta is launching on July 27th, and it's time to team up with the GOAT. LeBron James is slamming into Multiversus July 26th, everybody. There's a trailer out right now. People are excited, I think.
Yeah.
My favorite WB character.
LeBron James.
It's Space Jam. That's what it
Every
is.
morning get up. You play this
Yeah.
one? Cam, did you play Multiversus?
I've not played Multiverses yet. I'm going to. I generally fall off Smash Brothers clones on Smash Brothers itself pretty quickly, but I do want to check it. I do want to main Batman, obviously, and just stomp people online. So we'll see. I'm gonna give it a go.
We ask people watching live to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up. In here is just Kebabs trying to say that we screwed up LeBron James being revealed. No, we didn't. You just pulled the trigger too early, Kebabs. So I want you to think about what you did, and you're not allowed to use the W key the rest of the day. Okay? Think about that.
Pull it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your final Kind of Funny Games daily for the week. But we'll be back next week. Of course, the show doesn't end. We have a post show due on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Of course, if you went over there and supported us to watch the post show when it gets posted later, you get the show ad free. You could write in and be part of the show. You could watch the XCast episode. I'm going to chew up this cough drop. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to tuck it in, but it's so small now. It keeps coming out.
Yeah.
You can watch XCast 100th episode today live, all on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Next week, we'll be back. The hosts look like this. Monday, Blessing and Tim. Tuesday, Janet and Gary. Wednesday, Blessing and Janet. Thursday, Blessing and Mike. Friday, Blessing and Tam. It's a big Blessing weekend.
Blessing carrying Kind of Funny Games Daily the next week.
You know what?
That's true.
Good for him.
It's about time he did some work.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a post show to do. If you're watching live right now on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, don't worry, don't go anywhere. Mike's going to play some Fortnite before we all do a reaction to the Marvel Studios SDCC animation panel. What will we see? Are we just reacting to the announcements? Are we just going to hang out and make fun of Nick? Probably. But it's a good day of hanging out, having some Comic-Con fun. I'm supposed to be there, but I have COVID. I'm sorry. Sucks. You know, Kevin?
Hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Anyways, Tam, as always, you're as sweet as a Georgia peach. Where can people keep up with you?
You can keep up with me on GameSpot, on Giant Bomb, and on twitch.tv/TamoorH.
Excellent. We have a post show to do on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. But until next time, no! It's been our pleasure to serve you.